The EPCHS. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPCHS.com.
And belly on up to the 9-foot homemade oak bar. Pour yourself a cold one. It is Football Friday. It actually releases on Thursday evening, but it celebrates football in the EP following the Evergreen Park Mustangs. They are 1-0, and Coach Ram will be on the show here in moments. If you are looking for the regular 30 minutes of good that is the EP podcast, it's on demand right after you listen to this. It should queue up, or you can just jump over there right now. It's really easy. On that episode, Stephen Davidson, the new principal of Queen of Martyrs, talks to us. Glenn Panuski checks in with a slate of village events. And there is a booster club from Most Holy Redeemer that has a huge fundraiser live streaming. I'll be hosting it on September the 7th, and a little bit of singing at the end of the show. The EP podcast is always brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. They invest in the Evergreen Park community. After all, they love the area as much as you do. Plus, with their Total Access checking account, you get free ATMs nationwide, a $300 bonus with qualifying activities, and there's no overdraft charges. They have incredible mobile banking tools. They have a statement savings special of 4%, and there's a way to get $200 extra thrown in there with qualifying activities. Make some big interest, not have to worry about any penalties if you have to pull it out of there. Take advantage of what is available to you at the First National Bank of Evergreen Park in that iconic building at 95th and Pulaski, member FDIC. Let's get Coach Ram up to the bar. Coach Ram joining us after a week 1 win, and also it's got to be just an amazing feeling to have your first game as a head football coach and get that win right away.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a long time coming. The day I got hired, you have August 25th then circled on the calendar for a long time. And I'm really glad we came out with a win. Our boys played tough, and it was a really nice competitive game.
Do they celebrate like anything special because it's your first win? I know that like you probably give out a game ball. Is the team giving it to you? What was it like in the locker room afterwards?
No, it was exciting. I mean this sincerely. We put them in a position, but our guys delivered out on the field. So I was happy for them. I was obviously happy. I had some family there, some friends there, so it was an exciting night. It was great. That's
a lot of fun. I mean, I just think that's just a cool story. Like that's a moment that you don't forget, right? Like your first game with the Mustangs, probably one of many, many games you're going to have with them to be able to go and do that. And it looks close in the box score. How close was it?
Well, I mean, it was a tough game. I mean, Marengo was well prepared. They had some size. They had, they were very good at running the ball. We were up 7-0 at half, and then it was, 7-7, 14-7, 14-14, and then we were able to score on the last drive. So, as far as competitiveness, it was right there with one of the more competitive games you'll see usually in a season. But we had moments where we were totally in control, I felt, and then we had moments that we need to clean up where, we let them hang around. And it was, it ended up being a one-score game. We would have liked to have seen more, of course, more points on our end and, a larger win. But, there was a lot of good, a lot of things that we saw that we were impressed with. And I think one of the most important things for a team, especially early in the season, is you got to get that one game under your belt where you're in a battle. And we were able to do that in game one, which is always good. And plus, obviously, the bonus, you have that competitive game and you come out a winner.
That's awesome. So if you had to pick one thing that you were like, that really worked, offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, your run game, your pass game, what were you most happy with?
I was happy with how our offensive line stepped up big time. I mean,
you were saying they had to kind of get used to each other. You got, making sure you figure out how to work together, right? That's a big deal.
I was happy with that. That was really promising to see, guys out there who do not have varsity experience, but, really kind of going after a team that was coming after them pretty hard. And, we're able to get the ball to so many guys. Jed Ajayi just running all over the place out there, catching the ball. He had a great game for us. And, I was happy with our tackling on defense. There's a lot of other things we could clean up, but we spent a lot of time working on tackling. Still room for improvement, but first game, a lot of times there's a lot more missed tackles. I was happy with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you just came straight from practice. We're sitting down on Tuesday getting ready for the next Football Friday episode that people are listening to right now. What were you working on the most? You must have walked in and said, we need to do more of this after what I saw in the game.
Yeah, there's always a long list. And, we were cleaning up some things on special teams today. We were also working on some different things we can do on defense as far as just, in preparation for this week's opponent. And, working through guys, when you have a small team, it's a blessing in a way because you get opportunities for guys to play these multiple positions, learn multiple positions. And sometimes you got to take time to kind of refine a player's skill at a position. Maybe they don't play as much as their first one, but the reality is this is a tough game and guys go down, and we had some guys step up. We had, a couple guys go down during the game. Hopefully they'll continue to be okay. But we had guys step up, and that's always a good thing to see.
And that's interesting. I don't think everybody realizes that with EP, multiple positions, playing both sides of the ball. Okay, mm-hmm. You have some of these Catholic League schools, their benches are so deep they've got two guys wearing the same number. And you guys have to be versatile and be able to go out there and get the best out of players. And sometimes they're playing the whole game. So when that's happening, I would imagine it's also really competitive. Like if a kid maybe starts off and doesn't have a ton of playing time, but is working hard, if he gets his opportunity, he can move up quickly. Whereas maybe in another program, I don't know, gets lost for a little while, maybe is waiting for the next year because they've already kind of decided what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, we preach it every day at practice. Everybody matters on our team all the time. All our players are important because, we need everyone to be prepared when things happen. And we were fortunate that a couple guys came in and were able to step up and do a great job. We wouldn't miss a beat as far as that. And, the guys have to realize, which they are starting to realize, but, everybody needs reminders that if you don't get better every day, all you're doing is going to hold yourself back and hold your team back. So, we're working towards getting our guys to understand that every moment is a big moment and you got to treat it like that, whether it's a practice, whether it's a game. And, a lot of them are responding well. So we're happy to see that.
Yeah, I have a son that plays high school sports and he doesn't play football. He plays hockey. But one of the things that I've tried to explain to him, because it was brand new last year. Now he's a sophomore. He totally gets it right. But as a freshman, grasping the idea of it's not only competitive out there on the field or on the ice in his instance, but it's competitive in the practices. Like everybody wants that spot on the roster. Everybody wants to perform. Everybody wants to get noticed. And so, you may be friends with your teammates and you want your teammates to succeed, but you're also trying to almost outperform to get to your spot so that you can excel. And that competition is probably a good thing for the team overall.
Well, and we have some competitive guys, and our kind of core guys that we knew who were competitive coming in, they've delivered at practice and in games. And what I'm liking to see right now is, it seems like each week another few guys start to understand that. It's hard when you play football, especially if you're coming to varsity for the first time and, you're used to things that, maybe are just not as competitive. Well, now you got to step up. Now you're going against a guy who's bigger, stronger, and possibly faster.
Some of these guys, they're 18 years old. They're grown men.
Yeah.
And you got a kid that's 14 or 15 and they got to keep up. That's got to be a thing.
Well, and it is a thing. And we're fortunate that our young guys on the team, our sophomores that are up with us, they understand that, hey, I'm here for a purpose, and it's really to be competitive. And what's happening with them is as they get more and more competitive at practice, well, now they're on the field, and they're delivering on the field. So we're just hoping to keep building. I mean, like I said before, there's some things that we definitely need to clean up, and we've talked about it right on Saturday morning with them right away. But, like I said before, a good competitive game that ends in a win on week one, you'll never have a ton of complaints as far as the overall big picture. We're on the right track.
I will tell you this. I do love listening to coaches talk when they have something that they know they have to fix, but they don't want to say specifically what it is because they don't want the next team to know what to target on the field. I completely understand that. Your next team is Longwood, and they are 0-1, and their game was not very close, 26-8 last week where they lost. Tell me a little bit about your opponent, what you're looking to do this week.
Well, our opponent, I got a chance to go watch them a little bit on Saturday play. We're just looking forward to get out there and kind of get going right away. We want to start fast against them.
This is a team you go get right away, punch them in the mouth, try to set the tone, I would think.
Yeah, you want to set the tone, and you want to get, you want to take care of business and understand that, our purpose for Friday night is to end this game and keep going at them and make sure that we are constantly getting a little bit better while we're doing it. So, we're ready to go with them. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's Tuesday. We're not totally ready.
Well, by the time this airs, you're ready to go.
Yeah,
so we'll just pretend.
There's a few things that, we're looking at to kind of make adjustments towards for this week, just to make sure that we're prepared for everything, and we're looking forward to Friday night.
Any players we should be watching? Anybody you want was a standout? Anything else? Anybody else you want to make sure that you mention this week?
Yeah, like I said, Jed Ajayi, a 70, I think it was about a 75-yard touchdown catch.
That's amazing.
He had
what's it like for like a kid? I mean, he must come off like jumping. He must just be like on cloud nine when he pulls that off.
He had a great game. He had a sack on defense as well. Dejan Feliciano was very efficient passing, high completion percentage, no interceptions. Great job, 1 touchdown. Antonio Clay Jones, 2 rushing TDs. An unsung hero of the game is David Johnson, Jr. He was able to carry a lot of the load for us on offense as far as on the ground. But he also, he wasn't playing all defense all the time, but when he was out there, he was contributing. And like I said, those young sophomores, Yarim Garcia playing corner, Tom Nava stepping in at line, along with, the regular linemen, Gerald O'Hare, Eddie Antunes. They did great.
Yeah.
We had another sophomore step up, Lonnie Mosley. And
the young guys kind of mix it up for
Yeah, and it's good when the young guys are getting that experience, and it's not experience against, a team that you're either blowing out or getting blown out by.
Right.
You're still in the competitive mix where this game is not over.
Well, that's where you see the most from them, right? Is when it's a competitive game. Because then you're trying to judge, well, is this what they're like all the time? Are they down because the team is down? Are they flying all over the place with great confidence because they know they can't lose? You really probably learn the most in the close games.
Definitely. I mean, that was, that's a big takeaway with my first time doing this in this position is, you start to build trust of guys who you can put on the field, and they're gonna deliver. And we were fortunate to see a lot of those guys do it. Again, this is like, I'm being like super positive right now. There was some things that we needed to fix.
No. I hear there were things that could be fixed. I think that is maybe, if there was a things we need to fix counter that we had a ding go off, I think we would have dinged the bell like 10 times.
Yes.
Like, I am so curious as to what the things are. And you're like trying to be like I feel like if the things that you want fixed are not fixed by week 3, you're going to be specific about it because you're going to be fired up about it. So I hope these guys are listening and understand whatever coach told them they have to clean up, they better do it because he's brought it up a lot.
Well, the only way you get better at anything is going 110% at it at all times. We've been fortunate where our guys have been doing that, but at the same time, now that we have the effort level there, now we got to work on our execution. And there's some things that we didn't execute perfectly that we're going to continue to work on.
All right, so you've got this one against Longwood. It is a home game, correct?
Yep, it's a 6 o'clock start. No frost off game before that day. They're playing on Monday, actually.
Okay.
They were going to play on Thursday, but they're playing on Monday.
Yeah, long weekend, so they're going to be playing on Monday. Well, when you're done, because it's a Friday, what do you do for the rest of the weekend on a holiday weekend? I mean, because you get some extra time off, right? Or do you keep the same schedule next week?
We usually keep about the same schedule. Like, we're planning on, having our normal Saturday, and then we'll come back Monday on the holiday.
You going to barbecue for these guys? You're going to get like the grill out?
We gave them a nice team meal before the game on Friday, and I think they were pleased with that. But honestly, Monday is a big day always for practice because it's usually the first time that you're really kind of focusing with the players on the other team. So depending on how our outcome goes on Friday, I'm sure we'll be talking about our next opponent very heavily on Monday.
All right. Before I let you go, one more question. You're not living in a bubble. You're aware of it, that this weekend is the Battle of Pulaski. Brother Rice Marist, which is a rivalry. Those two schools are rivals, right? Right now you're playing your non-conference. They circle that game every year, those schools. Do you have one right now you've got circled? Would you admit that there's one that you're looking at like we've got? I can't wait to get them against that because it's just a different kind of game.
Well, we always look forward to any conference opponent, and our first one being Revis is one that we're really looking at. We want to beat everyone in our conference. We want to go 9-0. That's what I'm going to say to that. Like, I'd like to see, we're going to have Richards down the road. To me, that's something that I'm looking at where we would like to see how we go.
That's a big game right there.
Yeah.
You go out, you go win that game, and that's a home game this year for you, if I'm not mistaken.
We got a lot of work to do before then. You
got some stuff you got to clean up.
That's a great program, but honestly, we're thinking about Longwood on Friday and then going right into Revis. We're pretty week to week.
All right. Sounds good. Coach Ram, he's got a team that's 1-0. He's got some sophomores that stepped up, and there's some stuff they got to clean up for sure. All right?
That's a good summary right there. I like it. That's excellent.
He's fresh off of a practice, and he's already planning his next. You can see his wheels turning as he's sitting there doing the interview. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. Have a good one.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.